Little what?
My
Stop that,
head,
girl.
my
Damn it.
head. Oh, oh,
I
oh,
thought she was like, I was
oh,
like, girl, I got a
I
little
thought
oh,
you had.
lipstick
oh.
going on.
We live, everybody. Let's go.
Let's do it. Mm.
I swear that intro is not long enough. But hello, everyone. Welcome to TT of Life. I'm your host, Veronica, back with you tonight.
Yeah.
Girl.
Tangy T is where we talk about any and everything, and we are all about it tonight. Hopefully, people will tune in because it's going to be a deep show tonight. First of all, let me introduce my co-host tonight. We have my brother Fatine, all the way from New York, WBLS radio station.
In the place. Thank you.
Below me is my girl Sharon,
What it do, y'all?
my
What
gym
up,
partner,
Cassie?
home
What's
girl.
up?
And of course, back tonight is my girl Deanna.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hi. Welcome.
What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining the tea tonight. This is the place where we talk about everything. And tonight it's going to get a little deep because we are definitely talking about our culture, our people, and what we're doing, out here. And can I get a little music for a second while I tag you guys on the Facebook? You can rock a little. We're moving up in the world. We're moving up. Doing a little something here on the tea. We tag y'all. Fatine, you hear it?
I hear it good, girl.
Let's see.
I hear it, I see it, and everything is ready to go.
Right. So how's everyone's day? First of all, let me say shouts out to the teachers.
Yes.
It is definitely Teacher Appreciation Week. Shout out to all the teachers out there making a difference in our kids' lives. Yes, we appreciate all the teachers out there that's working hard on the job for the right reasons. Yes, all the
and
teachers.
Also the nurses. It's Nurses Appreciation Week.
Exactly.
They've been on the front lines during the pandemic.
Yes.
Shouts out to Nurse Nita and Marquita. We see you.
Okay. All the nurses out
well,
there.
then I gotta shout out mine. And matter of fact, at McLeod in Florence, Angel, my cousin Angel, and Shaquana. Yep,
All right.
Yes, they are.
Shouts out. All the nurses out there. It's kind of difficult time to be a nurse.
Oh yeah.
But we definitely appreciate them for keeping everybody safe and calm during this pandemic. So once again, shouts out to all the nurses out there and also all the teachers out there. And to all of you lovely people who is joining me tonight. Yes, I appreciate all of you hanging out with us tonight on this tea. And we're definitely going to get right into it. We're going to talk about our culture. We're going to talk about us tonight. Some feelings may get hurt, but it's all good. We're here for it. Sometimes we need to hear things that hurt our feelings, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So we're definitely going to get into it, not putting down our race. Some things just need to be talked about. And this is the tea. This is where we keep it real. So this is where it's going to go down. All right. So, this pandemic has been a blessing for a lot of people. A lot of people have started their own business and all of that. And we want to talk tonight on why is it so hard for us to trust our very own? Like, why do we feel we have to go outside our race to get things accomplished, whether it's, lawn service, plumbing, electricians, flooring, why do we feel like we have to go outside? And there's nothing wrong with that, but why is so hard for us to support one another? And I can say that a lot People bring this on themselves because they don't have good customer service. You call them, they say they're going to be here one day, and 2 days later you still haven't seen them, and then they call and say, well, I'm on my way today, blah blah blah. A lot of people bring that on themselves. But let's get into it. Why is it so hard for us to support our own? Sometimes it's jealousy, don't want to see you moving up. Some people are hopes that businesses fail before they even start because they just have that mean spirit in them. You know what I'm saying? So let's get deep tonight, and whatever you have on your hearts, let's open up and talk about it. The phone lines are open, guys, for all of you out there who want to call in, and instead of leaving your comments in the box in the comment section, you actually can call in and you can share with everyone your thoughts on this topic tonight. The number is 843-481-0533. That number again is 843-481-0533. We want to hear from you tonight. Let's talk about our culture. Who we starting with? Fatine, you want to go first? Let's see.
Let's go. I got up. There's two books, one on this side, one on this side, that I have in my bookshelf. One is called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome.
There you go.
And there's another one called Black Pain. And Black Pain deals with the issues that we as people, as Black people, have endured and don't get help for. And it just piles up. Post-traumatic slave syndrome is the things that we and our ancestors have endured in the past that continues to pile up, and we don't look in the mirror. So let's talk about why we don't support one another like we should. I don't want to use the word that we hate ourselves, but at times, some of us, we won't paint this with a broad brush. So brothers and sisters that are out there that believe in yourself and support one another, we applaud you. But those that for some reason don't like themselves or don't feel that we as people of color fall short, that's something wrong with that. And I think, again, we have to look in the mirror to see why those things happen when we do those things. I remember watching a movie. It was about Tookie Williams, the gang member. And the question was put to him, why do you kill people? Why do you hurt people that look like you? And he said, because I don't like what I see in the mirror. So what I try to do is I try to eradicate that self. I just think it's a lack of self-love, not knowing yourself, not respecting yourself, and not loving yourself. So, I mean, we can break it down to so many different things, but I think, with a panel tonight, I think it's a good for all of us to go around and get into this conversation. So that's what I'll say right now.
All right. Ladies, your thoughts?
For me, I think it kind of starts, like you said, back with the slavery. A lot of things have been indoctrinated in us. So we have 400 years of slavery, and all of the things that our ancestors has witnessed with that, causing that trauma, and it just kind of being indoctrinated in us. So of course we don't like ourselves because we don't know ourselves. We don't know our history. And I also think about the fact that if we want to bring it closer to home, we think about it like the culture of the family dynamic. We don't trust people in businesses because the people who are supposed to protect us, our fathers, our mothers, they let us down. Our fathers who are supposed to be the leader, the nurturers, they're gone. They're not in the home. So the person who is supposed to love me, raise me, train me up, the person I'm supposed to trust, I can't trust because he let me down. And not just that, we know that in the Black culture, a majority of the fathers are absent. But even in some cases, a lot of cases, I know people where the moms are absent. So the people who are supposed to love me, who I'm supposed to trust, they let me down. So how can I, if I haven't gotten the help, the therapy, or whatever it is that's needed, how can I trust somebody outside of the family dynamic when the people closest to me have let me down? I think it's so much deeper than the crabs in the barrel little saying. I just think it's just so much. It's so much to it, and we as a culture, we look at each other and we judge each other, but we don't look at the why. We look at the what. But when you have so much on you, how can you trust people?
Right.
That is true.
Mhm.
I think you all made some valid points. Both. I think it does go way back, but I think it stems from just more than slavery, because we didn't have the opportunity to own businesses.
Right.
You know, what they did was your opportunity was to own land.
Mm-hmm.
And that land was your business. You know, if you had land, you could crop, so you could take care of your family and your neighbors, our color, our people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have to depend on the, you know, the white people for, you know, your food or sources of life, except for like small product seeds and stuff. You know, they had to go to the stores to buy, but they had to go to the stores to buy from the white people because, you know, that's who had the ownership of everything. But one thing I think that really hurt our culture is the people that actually made it, that had businesses, and I think they took advantage of the Black people, and some of them were bad business. So, you know, and it just takes one, and people are just so unforgiving. You know, one person can do you wrong and they can hear about, well, I didn't buy from them and they did this to this person. And it just trickles all down to where, you know, now I don't trust any Black people, any Black businesses, you know, and it just takes like one or two to take advantage of their own culture. And then, you know, everybody spreads that information around. And now, you know, it's like, well, so you rather trust your opposite race more than your own culture, even if, you know, we're trying to do you some good. So, you know, it's something that, you know, anybody that owns a business, you have to be very cautious of how you speak to people and how you do your business. And, you know, we have to actually go a little bit, have a little bit further, you know, give more customer service, be more happy, you know, give more information to the people just to get by, just to have, you know, a successful business. So, you know, it's a lot of aspects of things that hurt Black owned businesses, entrepreneurs, you know, and it's sad. I see it.
Right.
I would rather, you know, we have been down so long. Come on, people. It's so much of us.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's a
but
lot of us.
You think about it, and I think about it in terms of white privilege. They have generations of experiences owning businesses and owning these things, and where we as a culture, our forefathers may have owned land, but we're just now being able to grasp the concept of businesses. So it's almost like we don't get that trial and error period. We don't get that grace that's extended to everybody because
that prep time.
Right. So many businesses are already established. So I can just go over here. Nobody gives us the grace to say, well, I don't know, Anastasia is getting it together. So we're just going to go over there and extend a little bit of grace to her because she doesn't know. She didn't get a leg up. She's just starting. We don't have things in our community that teach us business etiquette, so to speak, things like that. Everything that we're taught is coming from another race. So granted, I'm not saying people from other races are bad. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like other races are taught to look out for themselves, where we're just out here trying to figure it out. So let's say if I'm white and I'm training a classroom full of African Americans on business etiquette, I'm going to share information, but I may not share as much as I would with my own culture. I just don't think that we're extended the same grace. I think that people have been taught to harp more on the negative than the positive. So we just haven't, we're not given that grace as a culture. I don't feel.
Well,
okay, you didn't speak.
Go ahead, Dean.
Okay, so I want to put a word that's on the table tonight. Remember the word, and it's going to come into everything we talk about tonight. Systemic racism.
Yes,
systemic racism
absolutely.
is so ingrained in everything we've done. That means that we doing back in the day and even up to today, we are still fighting the
A
system of
system.
racism that's embedded in just about any and everything that we do. Number one. Number two, we had a system in place, not only of racism, but hatred to the point that they didn't want us
Absolutely.
to read, they didn't want us to write. So, how do you set up a business when you are not able to read, write, communicate with your brothers and sisters? But we still found a way. Now, sisters, let me just remind you of something because a lot of folks tend to forget. Beyond Black Wall Street, when we talk about Tulsa, which we're coming up on the
Mhm.
anniversary of the 100th anniversary of Tulsa, Black Wall Street, which it was ran a town, a city in Tulsa that was ran by us, only us. You understand? And I'm talking about a well organized, business operated town that was destroyed, burned down by white folks. Number one, if you go back into the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, you got to realize that there was a black baseball league, there was
Yep.
black cabs, there was black shoe shines, there were black stores, there
Mhm.
were black businesses that thrived. What the problem is that the adversary, Mr. Johnson, the white folks that didn't want us to have anything or felt that we are taking business from him or her business, they came and destroyed our businesses because we were
Absolutely.
thriving. You got to realize when we push the word integration, I don't want to take us a different way. Integration, which Dr. King even talked about later on, that he felt that he was integrating us into a burning house. Later on, he thought in the beginning that integration, by integrating with white folks, we would get the same service. But we saw that that's not. We lost a lot of our own business when we talked about integration because we got rid of our business, think that we could integrate into their society,
No.
but it didn't work. We lost
Absolutely.
a lot of businesses back then due to integrating, thinking that they would play fairly, and they didn't.
Right.
Well, can we also say that, our great grandparents, our great parent, great parent, great grandparents, our parents, they didn't get that opportunity. Like a lot of different races, like their great grandparents and their parents, they left them big insurance
Well, yes,
policies, and
they did.
they left them wealth to start businesses and do things. Like they've been ahead of us for a
Yes.
very
A
long
long
time.
time. Yes.
So when we do come across the opportunity of owning our own business, you still have our people that act funny with each other because of someone starting their own business, because they see that someone is succeeding and doing great things. A lot of time, a lot of us don't want to see others get ahead. And that's why I wanted to have this topic tonight, because I feel like it's so important. Let me give myself applause and all of you, because I was spitting some facts. Like we do need to, we need to open our eyes and realize that no one is going to have our back. Like we should have each other back. And until we realize that, we're not going to get ahead. Stop knocking people down before their business even take off the ground. Here she go. Here she go trying to start this. What's she doing now? All the negativity that goes on amongst us as a culture has got to stop. Will it stop? I doubt it, but we need to try. Go ahead, Deanna.
So my question is, and I would imagine it's the question of a lot of African American people or people of color. I'll use that term to be politically correct. But how do you fight a system that is set up for it to be this way? I'm gonna give the example. We know that African Americans are graduating from college by record numbers. So when I say that to say this, African Americans are starting businesses, first generation, second generation college students, and all of these things are going on. So we're thinking as a culture, we're coming up. Then we get, for example, we get President Trump, who just pulls the curtain on so much hatred. So it's almost like once we begin to in some way thrive, we get reminded, kind of like stay in your place, if that makes sense. So I'm saying that all of that does happen, the jealousy. I'm not going to support her. I'm not going to support him. But I just think embedded. I don't think people necessarily want to be that way. I just think it's just so deep. That pain, that hurt runs deep. I don't even think people understand why they're that way. So I think it bothers me when people in general feel like we as a culture, I keep going back to the crabs in a barrel basket.
Crabs in the barrel mentality. That's a good one.
But I feel like, how else can it be when it has been that way for so long? Like, we can have talks, we can say things like we shouldn't be that way, we should support, but until people get real and face it, and in my opinion, go sit on some couches and deal with those family secrets and all that family hurt and all that stuff that grandma and them told us to push back, is gonna be this. Like, we just gotta be real and face all the stuff that people told us to shut up about. And we got to be bold, and we got to fight systems that are put in place to shut us up and keep us down and to keep us in our place. That's just how I feel.
That number again is 843-481-0533.
Yes.
Folks, you can call in tonight.
Yes, we would love to hear from you guys. Please call in. Let me find my little thing here. I had the number up here, but yes, the number is 843-481-0533. We'd love for you guys to call in tonight. This is a deep conversation, and we definitely want to hear from you all out there. We have some comments coming in as well. Let's see. Francis, is it the American black culture is behind am I saying that right? Black culture abroad have a different mindset.
Yeah, he's just saying culture in America is
has a different mindset. Go ahead.
I just feel like, just hitting on Deanna, I just feel like 45 and COVID were good and bad. And when I say that, I say it, I mean it in this way. When 45 became president, it was good because it exposed how a lot of people feel.
Absolutely.
And we as Black people already knew how people feel, but we saw it firsthand. So if that didn't open your eyes for you to move and make a change, then something's wrong with you. COVID was an opportunity. It was tragic, but it still is tragic, but it was an opportunity for people to step back and grow a business. Some people that, I wanted to do a business, let me try this business. Or I know it gave me time to reflect on what I wanted and what I didn't want. Or, I don't want to work this. I want to try this. So it gave people the opportunity too. And it gave some Black businesses people to thrive, because people were like, oh, really? 4 years of this? Yeah, no, we're getting ready to, hey, where the Black owned people at? Where the Black owned business at?
Yeah.
What you selling? But I need everybody not to sell
the same stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Because I support my shirt that I have on now is a support. I'll support her if nobody else support her. I'll support people that I know, but you don't need but so much of one part. I'm not saying there's not enough room in the world for me, but if I have 5 people that I know selling the same product, I'm not going to buy those products constantly, consistently from 5 people. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the only thing. So I want everybody to make it, but just know that, and when I try to talk to people about life insurance, everybody don't know term and whole, do you have life insurance? I'm not going to take your life insurance, first of all, but I try to explain and educate people on how and what life insurance is and what they need. Exactly. And there's just so many people out here dying that don't have life insurance, and you're stuck with a bill. So, I don't care what you say, whether you cremate somebody or you going in the ground.
It's a bill.
It's a bill. And somebody's going to have to sign for that bill before that funeral home do anything.
That's correct.
So, I'm trying, when you try to educate, people are so blind, they don't want to spend money. You want to spend money on, and don't get me wrong. If you have it, fine. You want to spend money. If you can spend money on hair and nails, $70, you can spend $20 on a policy, because most of them range about $20, $30.
Right. Yes. I used to
none
say
of us
that all the
will
time.
live forever.
Right.
Right.
Get that life insurance.
You have to get that priority where I'm not going to be a burden. I'm not going to leave a burden on my people. Something, because nobody, then you get the job and they offer you insurance on the job and then you turn that down too. Then something happens.
Yeah, I was going to say what you said about priority. Who has taught priority? Like who?
Well, I mean, because our parents, we're getting the feedback, because our parents wasn't taught.
There you go.
So how could they teach us?
There you go.
That's why it starts. That's why we always say it starts with you. We also got to look at a situation where there is what is called constructive criticism, and then when we're tearing somebody down. I'll give you an example. When President Obama became president, the pride for us as Black people to see a Black man and a Black woman go into the White House and then pick up and deliver. This country was in almost a depression. And for him to turn that around, it was really good. And we as people of color tried to pull off of that positive example of seeing a Black man in the White House. The constructive criticism, instead of tearing them down, is that some folks say, oh, well, he's not doing enough. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. I understand that. For instance, when it came to race and racism, I felt that President Obama could do a little bit. I thought he could be stronger on that. Mm-hmm. And I just think that when we as Black people, we cannot be scared to stand up and speak for ourselves.
Ring the bell.
Yeah, and we cannot be scared to do that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Joe Biden came out last week and he talked about the verdict in the George Floyd. He talked about systemic racism. You tell me, when the last president of this United States that you ever heard talk about systemic racism, and more has to be done for Black people, even though Black people put him in office and he owes us. But for a white man to come out and say that, and somebody say, well, why are you giving him kudos? I give anybody kudos that would come out and talk the truth. Right. But we as Black people cannot be scared. You can't be scared to be labeled, oh, you talking that old Farrakhan stuff, or you talking that old Sharpton stuff. Well, you're talking about people that ain't scared. Don't scratch where it don't itch. Right. We have to learn to stand up, speak truth to power, learn to respect ourselves, and call out wrong. If we see a Black woman, anybody, but when we see our women being called out of their name, we got to speak up. Right. Why don't people stand up? I see more women with more backbone or more kahunas than some Black men.
They do.
We start to fall short. And who needs to call that out? We need to call it out when we fall short.
Right.
I can speak to...
I'm gonna stop y'all right there for a second because we got a caller that's been holding for like 5 minutes now. All right, so and then I'll come back to you, Deanna. But let's take this phone call, and this is my first time taking phone calls, so let's see how this is gonna pop off. Hello, caller, you are live. Who do we have on the phone lines?
Y'all already know who this is.
Oh,
so I just wanted to say hello.
Man, get out of here, Victor.
Everybody.
Victor.
Oh, that's big.
I just want to go at Sharon right fast because I was watching and she kind of upset me a little bit. Miss Sharon, when I hear people start talking about starting businesses and doing this and doing that, as people who are inexperienced at starting businesses, what businesses should we start with no plan? I know you talked about 45 and COVID, but COVID was actually financially good to some of us who actually struck the COVID gold mine and did not touch the PPP loans and all that other stuff. So I just want you to elaborate on what businesses that, you think that we should start, not just giving a generic answer like that. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I didn't say or give an idea of what business you should start. And if you had to listen carefully, I said 45 and COVID was a good thing and a bad thing, because people were able to go out and start a business that they maybe have dreamed about and decided what they didn't. Now, I'm gonna use myself for example, since you want an answer. I left a job. I left my job, okay, and I invested in myself, and I got my insurance license. So I have a property and casualty insurance license and a life and health insurance license. So I can sell you homeowners, auto, motorcycle, life insurance, burial insurance, whatever insurance you want to buy. And I'm trying to educate people. So that was my thing. I have an agency now. Now, I don't know what nobody thinks, like, oh, you get an agency or you just automatically rich. No, I still have to build my agency. But when I talk to anybody, whether they're black, white, red, or green, I try to educate them on how beneficial the insurance, whatever they're getting, is for them. I just don't write a policy and it's like, oh, I want your money. I want to break that policy down. That's me. So, whatever business you decide to, whether it's a t-shirt business or a waist bead business or some soap business or, whatever business you want to start it. Because you know what? I mean, those who didn't have to touch the PPP loan, I got through all of that and I'm still making it through, because you have to be sensitive. You have to have sense, of what you can do, what you can. You have to trust it too, because that business, you have to believe in your business and nobody else.
Yes, exactly.
I think if I'm understanding,
Go ahead, Victor.
I'm gonna make this real short, and then Deanna, you can interrupt again. Miss Sharon,
I'm gonna have your back, bro.
I know. I'm just being facetious, Miss Sharon. Once I guess you can elaborate on this a little more. As far as people starting businesses with no business plan, no marketing experience, people just opening businesses and not looking at the supply nor the demand in this type of atmosphere that we in right now. A lot of people are starting these at-home businesses using Etsy and Pinterest and stuff like that and investing big money and getting no return. So I was just like, you started a good business where everybody needs insurance. But a lot of people are starting businesses or trying to start businesses where there is no marketing. Okay, I'm done.
Got it. Go ahead, Deanna.
I was just gonna say, I was thinking, Vic, and I'm pretty sure was thinking or was talking about, because I kind of feel that way too sometimes. Starting a business from a needs based, where you see a need, you kind of meet a need, so that you would have that audience that you're trying to market to, as opposed to kind of like you said, I think it was you sharing, so many people starting up the same business just because Sharon is prospering in it doesn't mean that I need to do it. I need to find my niche and go that way, or I need to kind of see a need and meet a need, because what I think the African American community do too is we spread ourselves thin, as opposed to, okay, Sharon is doing this, I might need to do this, as opposed to all of us splitting the black dollar and none of us making money.
Right. I totally understand what you're saying, because, like you said, if you see someone succeeding and say, oh, they can do it, I can do it too. But, you're kind of like, especially if it's just close vicinity, you're hurting the other business.
And if it's not your passion.
And I'm not saying there's not room, and there's enough.
Yeah, there's definitely room
for everybody. But you, like the caller said, you have to, go in with a business plan, and and what are you willing to risk and lose? Because you're going to lose. You're not going to make money every day. Right. How are you going to make money? You have to have a business plan for your plan. You got to have a business for your business. Well, you can't do one thing. In the beginning, some people don't have to, but a lot of people do. And I'm not too proud to work multiple jobs.
Right. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, this pandemic has, it's been a blessing for quite a few people. You know,
Right.
we had time to sit around and think about what talents we have, what side hustles we can do. You know, I have a lot of friends on Facebook that started their own business, whether it's t-shirt business, catering business. Like, I see a lot of people doing podcasts now. Like, this pandemic has given us time to sit and really focus on things outside of our 9-to-5 jobs, on how we can bring extra income in. So that right there alone was a blessing in itself. Fatine?
Yeah, I just want to say that when Victor said, and this is not to disagree with Victor, but just to add on, is that Victor talked about a business plan. I don't want people to be scared out there to start something, even if you don't have an illustrious business plan. You can start a business by trial and error. And what do I mean? I give you 2 examples. My daughters, one started doing hair that turned into a business. I mean, now she has a strong client base. And due to COVID, she's not in a shop. Matter of fact, she had her own shop. Understand? But the place that she was renting, that place lease was up, and they decided to renew to somebody else. My other daughter, she started doing caps for graduation. She just did a baby reveal party. If I wish I could show you a banner. And these are businesses that they didn't start to say, I want to make so much money, or I want to branch out and make this my only way of living. So I tell people that if you have a niche for something,
there you
or
go.
you have an idea, start it. And then as you're going along, as you're starting to see that, hey, wait a minute, this is something that is growing. This is something. Then you go out there and you research it, and you got to put the work in. And that's when you put a business plan. Folks that are trying to walk away, like Sharon just said, I left my job. She left her job. A lot of people lost their job. Sometimes your back is against the wall, and then that's when you have to come out and do. But don't let someone say you have to have this to start something. Go out there, research it, start it. But you got to realize, if you're going to be successful and you want that to be a business that's going to grow, then of course you got to have a business plan, and you got to know what you're doing, and you got to know your market.
Well, let me say thank you, Victor, for your call. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Our first caller on Tangy Tea of Life had to come from Victor. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Victor.
Victor is my co-host, and he's actually was working late tonight, so he couldn't get on the show in time enough. But shouts out to Victor. But I can say that this a lot of people complain about the pandemic and how it stopped a lot of us from doing our day-to-day lives and all of that. But once again, this pandemic has been a blessing for many people. And going back to what Fatine said, a lot of people have lost their jobs during the pandemic. But when one door closes, another opens. So a lot of times we have to look at things in that perspective and say that door was closed for a reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was time for that door to be closed. And Here I am starting my own business, doing something that I really like. I don't have to punch the time clock. Like, I'm doing my own business now. So once again, shouts out to everyone that started their own business during this pandemic. Shouts out to you. Keep grinding.
Keep on doing it. Keep on believing.
That's right. Keep on believing.
And your gift will make room for you. Your gift.
Right.
Your gift.
Your gift.
Yep.
Your gift.
Yeah.
And back to what you guys were saying, just because somebody else is doing this doesn't mean that gift belongs to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Find your own gift. Just because somebody is making it over here doesn't mean that you're going to make it in that same field that they're doing. Go ahead, Fatine.
Yeah. So one of the things that we have to look at is 2 things real quick. Is the product that we're selling. You got to realize that there's some people that have monopolized the business. And what do I mean? For instance, up in New York, the Koreans has monopolized the vegetables and fruits. They monopolize the hair business. And when a person of color is going out there to try to get into, let's deal with the fruit and vegetable first. When you have to go to the wholesaler, sometimes the wholesaler is the same cultural background as the Koreans out there that is selling this. So at the end of the day, they mark your price up. Then when you go back in the community, your price is higher than across the street where the Koreans are at. And then the folks that come in your store said, well, I go across to Joe Kim because his is cheaper. See, that's why I'm saying you got to learn how that it starts with not only having a business, it's about manufacturing, it's about distribution. You got to be in this game. I think it's a sad reality that so many women of color go to get their hair done, their nails done, and I bet you cannot name 10, definitely hardly 5 shops that are owned by us that does our hair and our nails. And if you can, I applaud you on that.
Oh, we definitely have shops.
Oh, we got
the hair shop. We got hair
and nails.
But the nail
black
shops
owned
are coming, but they are far and few.
Far and few.
They are
And
far
I'm
and
just
few,
saying,
but they are coming.
right. So that's why we need to learn how to get into this district and do it from the bottom to the top and understand it so that we can not only support the business, that we can have distribution and a place to go get the same kind of hair that those folks did. My daughter decided instead of going to the Koreans to buy her hair, she went online and found a wholesaler where they go and get their hair. She got her hair and she ordered it like that. So she cut out the middleman. She cut out the middleman instead of giving them that money.
They're going. If we start to produce that, if we buy from them and they find out it's black owned.
I'm sorry, Sharon. I didn't mean to cut you off, but Corey, could you call back, please? We had a caller coming through and I missed it. I think his name was Corey. Corey, if you can call back, 843-481-0533. Sorry, Sharon.
Oh, no problem. I believe they're going to change the price on us.
It's all systemic.
Yeah, they're not right because they don't want us, because we buy the hair from, and we go to the shops, and I would preferably buy it. I would rather buy it from a black, because I would rather support them. Like when I go to the farmer's market, I would preferably buy my stuff from a black owned person because they are always not supported. And so, I would rather support them. But once we start getting stuff like that in business like that, they're going to start charging us more.
Definitely.
Is that Corey calling us back now?
Come on through, Corey. What you got to say? What's on your mind?
Sip some tea.
Should have made me a fire.
I may have hung up on Corey. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go.
Hello. Welcome to Tangy Tea of Life. Who we got on the phone line?
This is Corey.
What's going on, Corey?
Corey.
Nothing much.
What you got for us on
How's
this
it going?
topic? We're good.
Well, I was listening to my man, Brother Patine. Veronica, this is Corey Eames, by the way.
Hey, Corey, how are you, classmate?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. What's on your mind?
I love the show, by the way. Just wanted to know that.
Thank you so much, Corey. Thank you.
So I listened to my man, Patine, and he was talking about the Korean shop in New York. And he's right, because I lived in Baltimore for some years, and it's the same way in Baltimore on the corner. But the problem with us is that we allowed them into our neighborhood. We allowed them to thrive. And when a black business comes into the neighborhood, and I get it, I know sometimes black folks' prices are higher than giraffe booty. I get it. But at the end of the day, we still allow different cultures, different ethnicities into our neighborhood. And like we said, they take over. And then when we try to do the same business, we're not realizing that business has already been there for X amount of years, and they've already built up their clientele base. And you know us, we are creatures of habit as black folks. We are creatures of habit. We'll go to the same beautician, we'll go to the same barber, we'll go to the same shade tree mechanic, although that Bama ain't fixed our car in 20 years. We'll still go to him because of comfortability, right? Mm-hmm. And so what we have to do, we have to break that comfortable mindset. I know you said earlier, during the pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs. Fact.
True story. They did. However, what we have to do, I know you said earlier about where one door closes, another one opens up.
Right.
Then we have to realize that that one door may take a long time to open up.
Yeah.
It may take a long time to open up. We just got to be patient enough, you know, and we got to hang in there. And like you said, I think it was her name was Sharon, was talking about, you know, your business is not going to make money every day. That's a true story. You know, you're not going to make money every day. Bill Gates didn't start out making $1 million a day. No, it took Bill Gates a long time for him to build that business up. Warren Buffett, a long time to build that business up. We just got to stay the course, invest in our community. And I think the most important thing for us to do right now, because we have children, a lot of us my age and older, we have grandchildren. We need to start investing in them now.
Right.
Investing in them now and teaching them about IRA, teaching them about retirement, teaching them about, because we don't know how it's going to look in 20 years. When I was 20-something years ago, I didn't think we were going to get to this point. And yet, look where we are. You know, here I am with a 25-year-old daughter. You know, I don't have any grandkids, but we don't know how it's going to look in the next 20, 25 years for us as a people. I know, you know, studies show that in the next 20 years, it's going to be all black and brown people. That may be true, but are we going to be a community of rich black and brown folks versus where we are now? Are we going to take 10 steps back, or are we going to take 20 steps forward?
Right.
It's up to us.
That's right.
In order to teach our kids and our grandkids, because the one thing that I want my grandkids to say and my great grandkids to say about me, that was a bad man. That was a bad man. So we got to start with our children and grandchildren and teaching them how to start their business, because, you know, we may not be able to see that dream come true. They will.
Corey, can I say something to Corey real quick? Corey, you still there?
Yeah,
Corey?
I'm here.
Okay, so one of the things
Yes, sir. I'm here.
I totally agree with everything that you said, Corey. One of the things that we as people of color, black and brown folks, we tend to fall behind. We tend to lag behind on a lot of things. For instance, it was really exposed when we were talking about dealing with the internet back in the 80s. Getting, you know, we was talking about getting on that super highway. Black folks were having a problem getting on the on-ramp to get on the super highway. You understand? Now we're into cryptocurrency. And wait, let's just go back to the internet. Then when the pandemic came, it was exposed when our kids had to be homeschooled. You see how many of our folks didn't have the internet, so our children could be caught up in the lessons in school. Now, fast forward, we into cryptocurrency. Now, I don't know what the future is going to hold with cryptocurrency, but we don't even talk about it. We don't even know what cryptocurrency is, but white folks are out there trading. Some people of color has gotten into it, but we need to know what it is about, because again, here goes something that is coming about investment. You know, people dealt with cryptocurrency and put in $1. Now this thing is up to $600. You understand? So we need to make sure that we are abreast on what's happening. It's hard to know what's happening when the father ain't there. The mother is going to work. She got to come home. She got to cook. She got to get the lesson. We don't work as a family unit. We work paycheck to paycheck. So it's very hard to stay current on a lot of things when we are surviving to get to the next day.
There you go.
This is true. This is true. However, and brother, I totally agree with you. Staying current and like you said, but however, some of us are current on Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know,
I know I am.
We are
but
real current on.
I am.
And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I got my shows that I stay current on as well. However, to your point, what you said earlier about, you know, during the pandemic, you know, we realized that certain homes didn't have internet. Trust me, I know. I work for the cable company. You know, I've seen it. I've seen it over and over again. You know, especially when I worked for a cable company in Baltimore, Maryland, inner city Baltimore. West Baltimore. You know, they made a TV show about West Baltimore called The Wire. That was true. That's true living West Baltimore. When you see so many deprived Black children, you know, with no internet and brother, you sound like you're from New York, so I'm sure that you've seen it. You know, not having just the basic things to survive. Chris Rock made a joke years ago when he said, you know, if you leave and a Black person breaks into your home, leave your jury in a book because we don't open books.
That's right.
You know, nobody reads anymore. You know, I told a niece of mine one time a couple of years ago. She said that she was staying with us for the summer. She said, "I'm bored." I said, "Well, read a book." You know what she said to me? She says, "I don't like reading."
There go my
I was so shocked because when I was that age, you know, her age, 16, 17, I like to read. You know, I might not have, you know, put all that attention in school as Veronica can go back with me on, but still,
Right.
I wasn't a dummy.
Right.
You know, that was one thing. I was not a dummy, and you know, I always picked up a book and read it. But we gotta start back, man. And you know what? It's sad. You know, we our people are hurting.
Yes.
Our people are
Totally.
really hurting.
Totally hurting.
Thank
And Corey,
you.
Corey is calling. You're calling from Baltimore, right, Corey? You in?
No, I'm in Charlotte now.
Oh, you in Charlotte?
Right,
Okay, all the way from Charlotte.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
Veronica,
Yeah, I'm in
Sharon,
Charlotte.
Deanna, and Corey. We talked about West Baltimore and the Wire. You know what's also in Baltimore? The Black Wax
What's
Museum.
that?
You don't hear about that. People
Absolutely.
go to see the Black Wax
Absolutely.
Museum and the history there.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. Frederick Douglass House is in Baltimore.
That's right.
Mm.
Absolutely. Been there plenty of times.
Well, how many of us take our vacation and go to places like that instead of
Right.
going to the beaches?
Well, I wouldn't.
Right.
Well,
I wouldn't
I
go
wouldn't
there, but
necessarily recommend. I wouldn't
Not going to
necessarily
the-
recommend that you come to West Baltimore for vacation.
not West Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
I would.
Well, what about
I
like?
wouldn't.
other-
You know.
Yeah, I get you. But
I mean, DC. I mean,
yeah, that
the-
yeah,
the
DC.
only time you, DC, and you know, and you should only be in certain parts of DC. You know, I wouldn't go to Southeast DC after
Oh.
6 o'clock, but that's
Okay.
another story.
Well, more educational places we should start taking our kids so that they can learn about history instead of, you know, fun places like Six Flags. I mean, nothing is wrong with that, but at least take one day and take them to educational places and let them learn about history and stuff like that. We miss those times.
Yeah. I mean, you know, this started in our home state of South Carolina. You know, go to Charleston. You know,
Right.
you know, that was a slave port. You know, if you were a slave in you know, this country, you came in through Charleston, South Carolina. A lot of kids don't know that the first slave came to this country in 1619. They don't know that. You know, you got to teach them about that stuff.
Right.
You know, take them to those flatlands down there in my hometown of Society Hill and Mechanicsville. You know, those were slave lands and plantations. All those flatlands, all those cotton fields. I couldn't have been a slave. I'm too light skinned, and they would beat my ass all day long because I ain't picking no cotton. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Oh man, Corey, thank you
Corey.
so much for calling in, my brother.
Thank you for having
so
me.
much.
You guys are great.
Thank you so much.
All right, you guys are great. Take care.
All right, talk to you later.
Yeah.
There's
Yes, thank you, Corey. And you too can call in. The phone lines are open. 843. We have 481-0533. Call up and let us know your thoughts on the show. Once again, thank you, Corey, from calling in all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina. We appreciate you. Go ahead, Deanna, what you were saying?
it's so much. I feel like I want to say, but I want to start with the comment that Corey made about his niece and her not reading, and even Fatine said with the internet, parents or schools discovered that a lot of parents didn't have internet when we had to go virtual or whatever the case may be. It goes back to the word that Fatine used in the beginning. It's systemic. I said that as an educator, when I went back to school to get my master's in education, we had to choose from all of this literature. I was the only, I think, it might have been one other, but the only Black person, with the exception of maybe one other, who didn't stay the course. So of course I chose the book that was called The Resegregation of Public Schools, or The Resegregation of Schools, right?
Mhm.
So once I got into the book, it just kind of broke down things to me that I would not have naturally thought about. So when I say that to say, when we noticed that homes didn't have internet or internet access, it is designed, the system was designed to keep lower income families or certain families from certain neighborhoods from having access to that stuff. So it's not that people just don't have it or are behind, but if I'm poor or don't have the means, of course I'm going to choose our next meal over the internet. And if I go to a school that's not in the most prestigious neighborhood, you're not going to get access to the better quality stuff. You're just not, the laptops and the iPad, those were not things that were at the top of the radar for schools that are in school zones that are not considerably rich, or for people who have money. So it's just, the system is just designed that way. And I hope I'm not saying too much. If I am, just kind of let me know.
Oh, you
It's
good.
designed to set us up to fail.
Absolutely. So when Fatim said that we as a culture, we need to stand up, we need to speak up, I can say for myself, I was one of those people who felt a type of way, but I never, up until probably like the last 2-3 years, I never said anything because I didn't want to be offensive to my white friends or my white coworkers, or I wanted to be politically correct because I didn't want to offend anybody. It wasn't until I experienced systemic racism myself that I'm like, oh no, like this can't fly. So that is when I started to speak up, and I had to realize just because I'm poor, I'm pro-Black does not mean I'm anti-white, and it's okay for me to speak up for things that are important to me,
Right.
that are offensive to my son, because if we don't speak up, nobody else will. So I think a lot of people, especially Blacks in corporate America or whatever types of fields, we feel like we can't kind of shake the tree because of the consequences that may happen. So
Right.
I understand that because I was there, and it wasn't until I experienced what I experienced that I spoke up.
Yeah. And that is the thing. Like we do tend to be quiet a lot because we worried about how someone is going to take how we feel about how we feel. We do have that mask over our mouth to say so. When are we going to be free of that? And is that we are afraid to speak our mind at times.
We have to set ourselves free to be able to speak, because I could have been walked, and I think that's what happens a lot. And so that's why I think we see the spilling over of the emotions when Black people break or they snap. It's because we've been taught to suppress all of that, because we got to be politically correct, and because we can't offend. But I am offended as an African American, where we can't get a George Floyd bill passed, but there is an anti-Asian hate bill that's already passed.
Woo!
Like, I am offended by that.
Come on, already.
I'm offended that I have to talk to my then maybe 8-9-year-old about why he can't wear a hoodie in the store.
Right.
I am offended by that. I am offended when I tell my son that when he hang with his white cousins, because they grew up like cousins, that even if they get into something with the police, he cannot do it. I'm highly offended. I am offended that I have white people that call themselves my friend, but they don't speak up on issues that hurt me, even though they feel like it's wrong. So I am greatly offended, and I have a right to say that stuff, and nobody should judge me or feel like I'm racist. Black people, in my opinion, cannot be racist. We don't have a system in place to suppress a whole nother race. We just can't. We can be, biased. We can be prejudiced, but as a system, we do not have the means to be racist. That's my 2 cents.
Right.
And I'm
Could I get you ladies? I want to hear from all 3 of you ladies. I know that, and I just think that Veronica tonight coming up with this conversation is just well, I don't want to use the word overdue, but it's
Overdue.
encouraging to have this conversation. And I know that we get a lot of letters and it deals with relationships. And I want to ask you ladies, how do you get this? And I noticed, as Deanna mentioned about being pro-Black, Sharon, you talked about business. Veronica, you always are talking about being the best you. I remember when I was in my mid-20s, single at the particular time, and I would meet young ladies and I would want to talk about something that is conscious. Not all the time it got to be about, politics or whatever, but what I'm saying is I bring some kind of substance to the conversation. And as I noticed, it was more about things that were more trivial than conscious. So after a while, I just dumbed the conversation down. I just dumbed it down and talked about the trivial things that they like to talk about at the end of the day. And the reason why I bring that up, because I when I got on here and I look at the young ladies and guys out here, you can see that these three sisters are easy on the eyes. They're very attractive young ladies. But beyond the attractiveness, they all have a mind. They all have a mind. And see, that's what I'm saying. Of course, we sometimes is drawn through the physical. We understand when we see that. But the question is, and I put out to you, young ladies, when men approach you, do they come with substance or do they come with BS? Because, see, that's the driving force out here, that you got to realize that if you stand, like what they say, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So my question to you, young ladies, do brothers approach you and do they have substance in their conversation? Or even if you are talking, more than once, is there any kind of substance? Because at the end of the day, if you ladies don't when I use the word make us better, make us come better, we come with BS, y'all be like, nah, I ain't with that tonight. You understand what I'm saying? I throw that out to y'all, the ladies tonight.
I really don't give anyone time, pretty much where I'm at in life at this moment.
Okay.
I really don't give them the opportunity to come at me for anything at the moment. If that makes sense.
What about in the past when you did give somebody time? Did the brothers that approached, did they bring a balance? Because everything ain't about, like I say, we ain't always talking about pro-Black things, but was there a balance? Can they talk about sports? Can they talk about politics? Can they have a well-rounded conversation?
Yes.
Or are they talking about how big your so-and-so is?
Oh, no.
And the other?
No, I haven't been approached by anyone like that. Back in the day, like my early 20s or whatever, early 30s maybe. But now I guess it comes across you as a person and how you carry yourself, then you won't get those type of men approaching you. I can honestly say that I present myself as a lady, a classy lady.
Yes, darling. Yes.
So, so that's the kind of men that approach me. I would say, how do you ladies feel? I mean,
they try it. I mean, it's all kinds. They try it, but you know what you want as a woman and a male too. But you know what you want, because you're not going to approach me. I'm sorry. I'm going to look at your tennis shoes. I'm going to look at your haircut, your fingernails. I'm going to look at how you wear your clothes. Period.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to see that, because it determines, it says a lot about a person. I'm not saying you have to have the most expensive, but if you look busted and I'm not busted and you step to me, I'm sorry.
But how about if that's the one though?
Well, we
got to be careful how we.
I'm gonna lose the one, because because the Bible said when a man findeth a wife, he findeth a good thing. So when you out there, you looking for a wife, you need to present yourself as a husband then. And a woman need to carry herself as a wife.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
So you know, what you going? You can roll up on somebody and try to look broke down and busted and think we're supposed to see through that?
Right.
No.
That's true.
To
And
answer
you gotta have some conversation. You can't say them and this. If you type me and say this is with DIS and not the THIS,
Yeah.
shutting it down because I love literature too.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah.
And you can't tell the difference between your and your apostrophe RE.
Mhm.
It's a wrap. Bye.
Mm.
Red marker.
But I think because of, you know, we in that age bracket too where we ain't got time for no.
Definitely not. I'm
Foolishness.
45. I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
45. I raise my kids. And who had now after you raise your children to raise an adult?
Mm.
And Fatine, I know you're asking about these men. I know Deanna, you got to turn, but I got this. Can we go back? Just Deanna, after you finish your remark, can we go back to the black market?
Yes, because I'm sorry. This is the tea, and we do jump topics. I don't know how Fatine went here, but here we go.
He was
we're definitely gonna get back on.
Was trying to say these women know how to read, talk, write. You know, they got some.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we're not talking about no relationships tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I appreciate that, Fatine. I appreciate that because brother got books behind him.
To answer your question, Fatine, as hot as I like to think that I am, men do not approach me often. They just don't. I don't know if I got
that face like don't come for me.
The rest in B face
might be. I don't know, but I just always tell myself God has me hidden until the right people find me. That's what I tell myself. But
I
like that.
You know, you have to kind of use reverse psychology a little bit. But I don't know. The few that have been able to hold a conversation. I haven't had any issues with that. I guess my look, or like Veronica said, the way we carry ourselves, it just kind of weans some of them out anyway. And then the ones who don't have the courage to do so, just get on through. So,
right, exactly.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Some things are superficial and can be fixed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there are, you know, when you have someone, you like you said, if you can't carry a conversation and everything is about just, you know, knocking boots or, you know, my money or my car, you know, my baby mama, she's tripping. I don't have that baggage. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have that baggage. So you keep that all the way over there. So
can I give this one example real quick?
Sure.
There was a guy. He's a really nice guy, I must say. And he tried to get at me. Really, really, really nice. But I noticed that he was always talking about money. So one day I was like, why are you always talking to me about money? And he said, well, I can't seem to get your interest any other way. So I felt like if I talked about money, it would get your interest.
Well,
so is it that these men don't know what to talk about when they see us?
Intimidation, maybe?
That's it. That's why I asked so I could hear from you ladies what you get at the end of the day, because
crickets,
you know.
Oh, crickets.
There you go.
There you go.
You want to roll, host. You want to roll. Yes.
That part.
Sharon, you said you wanted to go back to something. Yes.
Yeah.
Can we go back? I want to go back to the black market. And when I say the black market, us people, our people, you know, what bothers me most is the closed mouth. And when I say the closed mouth is that someone is successful in a business, but you don't help anyone else. You know, it's okay to help someone else. I mean, it's okay to help them start their business. Like, you know, just use it for an example, you know, say you got a successful t-shirt business, but somebody else has some ideas that maybe could add to your business or don't know where to start. You know, And if you know that person, you know that what they want, you're closed mouth because you fear that that person will take revenue from you.
Mhm.
And just because you fear that, your blessing, you will get blocked from that. So, like I said, no, everybody doesn't need a multiple of the same business, but it's the closed mouth and the people that don't share. Like I said, I had to learn this insurance thing by myself. Okay. When I went and took my insurance class, it was 4 women in that class. I was the only Black woman. The other women, someone else paid for their class.
Mm.
I invested and paid for my own. They already had their foot in the door.
Right.
They paid for their class, their exams. I didn't have that.
Yeah.
So, and I had no idea. All I knew is I knew insurance, but I didn't know that side of writing the insurance.
Mhm.
But I knew I had some background in insurance.
Right.
So, I was like, you know what? I want to get on this side of it. And I took a leap of faith. And that's exactly what I did. And my last and other issue is that, and I'm going to talk to the Black women and disregard Black men, but Black women. Why is it when we get in a position of power that we don't know how to treat our people? I've had some great managers in my life, and I've had one great Black female, and I've had one good Black male. And the other Black female that I had cannot stand to this day. And I hope she don't stop me from getting into heaven. But my thing is, why is it that why? Somebody explain to me why. When we get in a position that we got the fling, my thing is, no, you don't have to. You don't have to show a weakness, but you would get more respect from your people, especially when you have more African American people working for you. You get more respect for your people than you would being nice than you could being cutthroat.
Correct.
So, I don't, you trying to make a point to the other people in the office, I guess, or whatever, of how cutthroat you can be towards your own people. But if they did, just know behind your back and maybe sometimes in front of your face, they don't like you. So we as Black women, when we get a position, we don't have to cut our people down. We don't have to be buttholes, but so many of them are. And I just, to this point, like, I hate to work for a Black woman.
You know what? And it happens so often. So often, and it's so crazy. Like I would never understand that, and that's just like going back to relationships. And I just want to throw this in. I say it all the time. How we go against each other when it comes to a man. We would turn on each other before we would turn on that man, and it goes back to sisterhood. Like I don't understand.
A button somewhere, I don't know, but yes, that we would turn. That man has done you wrong. And it takes 2 people, but you're gonna be mad at and angry on that female.
On the female.
When you should be mad with him because, first of all, he the one approached the female and brought her into that situation.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
We have to do better.
We have to do better.
We have a whole country against us, and then you have your own race against you, and and that's a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna just kind of talk to that, and I don't know the answer to it, but could it be, just playing devil's advocate for a little bit, could it be that we as women, Black women, have 2 strikes against us? For one, we're Black, and for 2, we are women who are another oppressed species. Could it be, and I'm just asking because I don't know, I want to know that too, but could it be it's already the fact that we got to work twice as hard because of our color? And then we got to work twice as hard again because we're female. Could it be that when they're in those positions, they are subconsciously just trying to hang on so tight that they're just kind of forgetting? I don't know.
My thing is, if you're in that position, you need to be counting your blessing. Hallelujah. And if you're treating people wrong, the only thing you're doing is blocking your blessings. You need to treat people right. I don't care what position the same way you got in that position, position can be taken away from you. So let's keep that in mind.
I think I'm not a Black woman, but just the concept is that And I asked this a few weeks ago. Why does it seem that when a black woman, or I'm just dealing with it since we're talking about our culture, a black woman walks in a room filled with other black women, the room stops. They look her up and down, and then roll their eyes. What is that about? And that is not something that is done once in a while. It's when you walk down the street. It's something that it seems to be embedded, that there seems to be this competition, but this competition amongst you and this sister, but to the point that you're envious of her, that you would rather be in her place than see her do well. And see,
Yes.
that's something that we see. We talk about systemic racism. That is the systemic hate that we have in our
Been
culture.
taught. We've been taught that.
That is subconscious or conscious in our mind that we grow up with, and then it comes out in any and everything that we do.
But who's teaching it though? I know my parents didn't teach that. Didn't teach us that.
Society
teaches that. Yeah.
That's insecurity. If it ain't your household, it's the next door household that's doing it.
It's an insecurity. It's not taught. It's an insecurity.
It is
a person who
is taught.
I didn't, like I said, I didn't learn that. But when a black woman walk into a room and she bad to the bones, baby,
yeah,
that's dope. She dope.
That's me.
I'm gonna give credit where credit's due.
You bring that already.
But you got people that come in and they look and be like, you know, oh, she thinks she all that. No, I don't, but thank you. You do.
I do.
Because you said
I
it.
do.
You think I'm all that because you said it. So, you know, why can't you pay it's when you don't know nobody, there's no need for no hostility. Stop breaking us down, because black women are beautiful.
Yeah.
And so many arrays of color and styles. You know, I might not be for everybody, but I'm for somebody. You know, so just not, you know, let's stop doing exactly what you just did. That woman come in the room, because when a man come in the room, you're gonna check them all out. Either you're gonna be like, you know, you're not gonna have the same type of hate, but you're gonna check out, oh, I like to date him,
right?
Or I don't want to date him, you know.
Right.
But you don't look at. Oh.
I feel like it was taught subconsciously, and then you take into account colorism.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, when you're growing up thinking light skin look better than dark, and then now there's this thing where darker women are it and light skinned women are not, and then you take into the fact that BBWs are winning, and it's just so many dynamics to it. But when you learn who you are, whose you are, what you're about, you can stand in a room full of beautiful women and you will still shine because you know who you are. It's no competition.
Right. So we have a caller coming in, guys. Let's see who's on the phone lines. Hello, welcome to Tangy Tea of Life. Who's on the phone?
Hi, you guys.
Hello.
Hello. Who we have here?
This is Tori. I just want to call and tell you guys I am enjoying this conversation.
Tori.
Hey, girl.
Hey, Tori.
I am really enjoying this conversation.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you. You see the
So I just called to give y'all a shout. I just want to call and show y'all some love because I'm sitting back and I'm enjoying the conversation. I didn't call to comment. I'm just enjoying the conversation. So I want to show y'all some love.
Oh, thank you, Tori. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you, Tori.
All right. I'm going back to listening. Love y'all.
Love you.
That's why I try to say, you know, when you're out there complimenting, you know, you try to lead by example. I give you another example. When I don't know, y'all talked about teachers today, and I think Deanna, you're an educator.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know at your school but in my days, but looking at my kids coming up, I just noticed that majority, they are around more women than men in school. When it comes down to the PTA meetings, there's more women than the men. So there was someone that came up with an idea to approach me on it, and we created what is called Men's Night Out, but we broaden it to have more of a presence of men in school. And by doing that, we try to teach the children by example how to conduct ourselves. How do we talk with folks? And you got to realize that we talk about the subconscious, things that they see that is recorded in their minds, but they may remember down the road. How did I speak to so-and-so? How did I talk to that one? How do I carry myself in the neighborhood? You know, and to me, that made a difference. So when I got the mind of a young kid, now I can talk to him and say, listen, brother, you don't talk to that young lady like that. Pull up your pants, because you don't walk down the street with your underwear showing, this, that, and the other. There's other ways to be cool and down and blah, blah, blah. But those are the things and the examples. And there was one young kid now, he was a terror in the school. I'm gonna call his name. His name is John Rose. He was a terror in the school with my daughter growing up. This young man came to my house as a young adult, graduate Hampton with scholars.
Awesome.
He is an entertainment attorney today in Atlanta. That's why I called his name out, because I'm going to lift this brother up. He also took my daughter to the prom, and he know I wasn't going to tolerate no nonsense to come into my house with all that nonsense. You got to come right. But he brought tears to my eyes. And when I talk about it, I get choked up sometimes, because he sat on the couch across from me and he said, brother, I had a father, you knew my father, but you was the example that helped me become the man I am today. You know what that said? I get teared up, because I just try to be the best me, to be the best example for them. You never know what they are going to take away from that.
Right.
But when you said that to me, I cried, I bawled, because I wanted to be that example, but you just don't know who you're going to reach.
You don't know.
You see this young brother now, and he's on these private jets, and he's doing his job out there. He just was on Billboard magazine. This is what I'm saying, that we can be the best that we can. We just have to believe in one another.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. We got to stop counting these kids out, the ones that's not doing the very best right now. Like my son, I can actually say my son do not like school. Sorry, he's 16. But I see big things heading his way. You know, he's just a teenage boy right now. That I have to understand that he's just a teenage boy and he's going through everything. Yes, you know. So I'm definitely not counting him out, because he's going. I'm speaking that he's going to do. He's going to do big things when he gets older.
It is so.
You know, because a lot of times they so ready to he ain't gonna be this, he ain't gonna be that.
Right.
The devil is a liar.
Don't count him out.
It is so.
I have to give a shout out to my cousin. She we are like twin cousins. That's like my twin for real. And I remember when she told me that she wanted to do hair. And then she said she wanted her own shop. But let me tell you something. Her husband made it happen. And he built her shop. She had a shop behind her house. When I can honestly say I've never known her to this day, and we are the same age, she has owned her own business, her own shop, and she has not ever that I can remember her working in nobody else's shop. When she got her beautician license, she said, I want my own business. And everybody, they counted her out, you know. I said, baby, you can do it. Do whatever you want to do.
That's right.
And to this day, she's still doing it. And I have to give a shout out to her,
Yeah.
Belle, she held it down, and
you definitely have to speak
example
it.
of it. You got a dream, you can do it. No matter what. And you got one person supports you, you can do it.
Exactly. We got to stop speaking words that we can't. Get that.
Exactly.
Throw that word away and make it happen.
But Veronica, that's what they want. They want you to be discouraged.
Yeah.
Those days when you're not making no money and you ain't generating no business, they want you to feel like, give up, throw in the towel.
Right.
I don't write a policy every day. I'm like, I read about a policy every day. But baby, it's gonna come. So I try to keep my head up and keep going. For the people that don't sell a t-shirt every day, or you don't get something back on your return on your investment, it's okay. Just keep pushing. If you believe in you, it'll come.
Right.
And it may not be tomorrow. It could be months from now.
Right. But it's coming.
Stay the course.
Right. I want to say something to the comment that Fatine made earlier about going to, like, I guess parent teacher conferences or whatever, and you only seeing women. Now, I've had the privilege of working for lower income schools with lower income families, and I've had the opportunity to work in what I call private sector. That was more white people, and you had very few people of color, but they were there, but they were of prestigious families. They had good amount of income. Now, when you take the lower income families, mostly single mothers, multiple children, lower income. So when you came to parent teacher conferences, or the parent had to come, or the child is dealing with behavioral stuff, it's a single family. It's a single parent. It's mom. You never, ever, ever saw a dad. It was rare if you saw a dad. So when I went to work at another place, and it was more what I call private sector, I always saw dads. I don't care if it was the simplest thing. You always saw that. It didn't matter if mom and dad was divorced. You always saw dad. So it's just so many different dynamics when we think about our kids. Like you said, they counted the brother out and said this or said that, but they're fighting against so much. As an adult, I can't process something. So just imagine a child or a teenager whose daddy is missing or gone, may not even know him. Mom is working all day. I'm the oldest. Now I got to take care of my younger sister and brother. And then I got drug dealers on the corner who appear to be living this glamorous life. As a culture, we're fighting against so many different entities at one time.
Yeah, it's sad.
And how can I, as a Black woman, not be mad? How can I not be bitter when I had a child with you and you chose to leave or go the other way, and now I'm left holding the fork and the bag?
See, that's what they're missing. They're missing that. You know, you can get into it with your, I hate this term, but you can get into it with your baby mama or whatever. But you got to understand, when you're not only hurting that, you're hurting that child in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
You're definitely hurting that child. So I say, if you can make it work, you know, if you're in a marriage and you can make it work, but you know, sometimes it's just some things
you can co-parent, be good parents.
You can be exactly without being together. You can be co-parents. But I'm glad you said it, Deanna, because I'm definitely talking to the ones that are not with their children's mother or with their kid's father. Yeah, at least should come together for those kids.
Right.
And women, Black women, do not make it hard.
Right.
For the guys that are trying. I like to share my experiences a lot. I got a son, he'll be 14 in August. Me and his dad were young. We were adults. We were young adults when we had him, and we always pretty much got along. In times when there was a little tension, I had to learn how to talk to him, because I would always come, you ain't this, and you ain't this, and you ain't this. He wouldn't receive it. So I had to check myself and change my approach. See, as a culture, we're taught that dude ain't this and he ain't that, and you this and you ain't that. We're taught to look at what a person does not do. And when I had changed my approach, our parenting relationship, it was okay. But when I had changed my approach and how I approached him, and I looked at, you know, the things that he did do, it made our dynamic that much better, and it made his relationship with my son that much better. And if you don't do something, it will never be because I made it hard.
Right.
We got to look at ourselves and stop pointing the finger. Stop pointing the finger.
I had to learn.
We have to check ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because the problem is not always that other person's problem.
Exactly.
We are the problem sometimes.
Yeah. And look, and use tonight. First of all, let me just say to all our viewers, any new viewers or our regular returning viewers, thank you for being there. You're always there supporting us, and thank you for that. But I'll be honest with you. If we was talking about a relationship and that man is going down the
Ding,
road
ding, ding,
and
ding,
this and the
ding.
other, man, these comments would have been
Exactly.
falling off the page.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying our mind is not in the right places. And you, as we're having this conversation, do you think the things that we're talking about skip relationships? All of a sudden, we
No.
get in a relationship, automatically it's working. We know what's right, and the other
No.
person know what's right. Hell no. That's why we fail in that relationship. That's why we having so many damn problems at relationships. And that's why people at the end of the day will jump on here and throw that because they like mess. They like mess. And I'm gonna call a spade a spade. That's why I brought relationship. Because it
Yeah.
just doesn't skip and all of a sudden we pros at relationships. No.
Right.
We have issues. We have issues in life. We have issues in relationships. I might this is my kind of conversation, but
Me
I've
too.
said at the end of the day, knowing right from wrong don't mean that you don't have bumps in life. You have bumps in relationships, but you have to communicate. You have to continue to try to be better, trying to correct, trying to be humble, apologize, and also look at it from the other person's point of view.
That's right.
That's about what about life is about, being better,
Yeah.
being better in any and everything. That's why we have problems in relationships, because we are not doing good in just about everything that we do.
Right.
Couldn't have said it better. We got to start listening,
Mhm.
conversating, listening to one another, and stop trying to talk over each other, and stop pointing a
Right.
finger saying, well, you was wrong and you did this, and you turn that finger around. We got to turn it to ourselves.
Right.
Patine, I have a question for you.
Yes.
When you talked about Black Wall Street and things of that nature, do you think that as a culture we'll ever get to a place where we have Black neighborhoods with Black banks and Black lawyers and you know what I'm saying, Black plumbers and Black
We got to come together first.
Yeah,
We gotta come together.
to answer your question, I always believe in the possibility. I think that sometimes we are pushed into the corner to start to realize our true value when people stop treating us or continue to treat us without respect, and we get tired of complaining, and then we start doing for self like we're doing now with the pandemic. We're creating our own businesses and doing things like that. I think that there's always an opportunity and always hope for it. I can't predict the future, but I do think that yes, we had a place in Maryland where we had Black doctors, Black prestigious people. This was back in the 90s. It was one of the most expensive places to even live as a person of color in this place in Maryland. So I think we can get back to that, but we're going to have to get better with one another. We're going to have to learn to respect one another and work together. And if we don't do that, then we're going to have a hard time getting back to that.
Because that's the thing. When was it when it was all about shop only Black? Shop Black, shop Black, shop. What happened to that?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Because I don't know about
That was
anybody
just a-
else, but I limited my money. I don't just shop frivolously anymore. I limit my money and I pay attention to what I buy. I buy the necessities.
right.
So, all that extra stuff and those high-end stuff.
Right. Don't-
So-
yeah,
Right now.
definitely. I'm
To
with you. I'm very frugal. Go ahead,
Good.
Deanna.
Yeah.
To kind of go along with that question, and there was a purpose for me asking that question too, because I always think about systems and how the system is designed and how the system is set up. You think about years ago, it was a good thing for people of color, Black people in particular, to take up trades, to go be a plumber, things like that. And then the wave came where college was a thing. So then we forgot about the trades and we jumped on the college. So we
And
started
the trades are so important.
Right. We started going to college, and nobody told us not to go to college for psychology or not to go for, not knocking any of that. I'm just saying, when it comes to money, you're just not going to get out of school making money in the social sciences field. I'm a witness. So we rode the wave for going to colleges. So now that we are getting degreed, master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, even going to PhD. Now the trend is going back towards those trades.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
in my mind, it's almost like systemic. So now they're getting degrees. Now let's focus on trades. When they was getting trades, now it's almost like they dangling the prize in front of us. And as soon as we get close to it, the flip kind of script, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, because you think about it, you go to college and get all this education, but
And that.
It's a good point. It's an excellent point. It's an excellent point. And like you said, dangling the carrot in front of the horse to put blinders on and lead people this direction. And that is true. We are led because we tend to deal with what is it called? The end thing. That's right. We have blinders on, and people, when we take those blinders off and believe in self and realize that I'm not going to move because this person is moving in that direction. I'm going to move in this direction because it helps me and it makes sense. For me, I have a 2-year degree in college. I refused to continue with more education at that particular time because I knew people were graduating with 4-year degrees and having a problem getting jobs. So I decided, hey, you know what? I already have a degree in electrical engineering technology. I'm gonna move in that direction. I'll tell you this, I did get a job in that, but I never worked a day in that field. I'm doing what I'm doing now, and I learned that on the job training.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't say it. This is the only time I'm gonna say this to Veronica and to you sisters. I'm one of the top Black radio producers in the country. You know, at the end of the day, you know, when it comes down to that, you know, and I worked hard at that. But now, you know what my competition is? I have production houses that are producing shows versus producers. You understand? That's what I'm up against. Production houses now, where they have a whole production house producing a radio show versus myself. You don't have as many Black talk shows as you used to have out there now, neither, at the end of the day. But just think about it. I tell you, you made an excellent point.
Right.
And I talk to my son a lot.
Wrong button.
I talk to my son a lot about college. I know college is not for everybody, but if you are going to go, make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Science, engineering, technology, math, medical field, dentistry, these trades. That
something
is where
that you
the
know,
money is.
right? And something that you know is going to be
That
around.
can set you up. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I do kind of just drop the nugget about engineering a lot because I was first generation. Nobody ever told me. It was just good. I was going to college.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
and here's a little story. I mean to cut you off, Deanna. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, I was going to just tell a little personal story of mine. When I was dating this guy, I was 20, 21, maybe. And his mom was like a head nurse. And, you know, she was good with when it came with everybody that was like teachers and everybody that's in the head of the nursing board and all of that stuff. So, you know, I was undecided what I wanted to do at that time. And nursing, all the nursing classes was filled, but she got me in that nursing program. But that wasn't what I wanted to do.
Right.
Like, and, you know, I look back at it sometimes now and I'd be like, dang, you know, because you will always have a job as a nurse. You know, they're always hiring for nurses, but that wasn't what I wanted to do. And still don't want to be a nurse. Shouts out to all the nurses out there.
Happy Nurses Week.
You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't what I wanted to do. And I was just saying that to go back when you were saying about you can't make your son, you can only, you know, talk to him about the fields that is necessary to go in.
Right.
But we can't make them, you know, we can only suggest and tell them what's right or what's good for their life.
And have them make informed decisions. Like, don't just make a decision blindly. He and I had a talk, and it's something to do with the culture. We had a talk maybe like a week or two ago, and I was just saying, everybody around your age, mostly Black males, want to be some kind of athlete, and because that's what we see. And I said, and I'm not trying to tell you what your talents can't do, what they can't afford you. I'm not being negative, but the reality.
How many make it though? How many make it to the NBA?
Right.
How many
That's
make it to the
other
NFL?
situation. So you really need to get in your mind some other stuff. And African American men, women, whatever, if you are in a career and you are succeeding in that career, please, please, please share with our youth, so that they can see people who look like them in position. They need to see people who look like them in position so that they can identify with it. Our school system, to me, a lot is broken because you have white teachers who, and nothing against white teachers, I'm just making a point, who can't identify with the culture. So it just seems like it's not adding up. So we need to see people like us in positions of power. So that's why we're happy when Kamala Harris is in a position, or when Barack Obama is in position, or when we got Fatin, who is one of the top radio hosts in the country. We need to see people who look like us in these positions.
Right. But how many of us, and I want to go back to something that Sharon said too, because I had this written down. We too busy worrying about competing with one another. Stop trying to compete and help each other out. You're in this position where you can tell me how to start my own business, but you don't want to because you're afraid. Why?
I'm gonna be successful.
I don't get that. Share the knowledge.
Share the knowledge.
Share the knowledge.
Right.
You know, like, come on now. Don't be greedy. That's how you continue getting blessed, by helping others.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, and I think, I'm not going to go that way with you. I'm going to leave that where you said something else, Veronica, I was going to say, but it's okay. I was going to show how you have to take care of yourself so you could take care of others.
There
the same way you're on that airplane, that oxygen come down, you take care of yourself so you can take care of the other ones. But I wanted to go to Sharon right now. And the only reason why I'm coming to you, Sharon, you've been a little quiet. And I want to say this, folks, tonight. I want to leave you with something tonight. Mm-hmm. Sharon said something tonight about life insurance. She talked about whole, term. She didn't even talk about bundle. But how many folks realize, and as Sharon said, we are born to die. You're going to need insurance to do what needs to be done unless you are wealthy and can pay for that. And a lot of people are just not wealthy. And even if you're wealthy, you still. Insurance is one of the first things that we can teach and learn about investments. Do you understand that if you got a whole life policy for your child that is 2 years old, and that when that child turns 18 years old, that child has an investment on a down payment for a house, or to the point of possibly buying a house. We don't know how to utilize and learn on the basic things that we do. Sometimes we think that we have to look outside of the box, and the box is right there in our sitting right in front of our face. I didn't know if you want to comment on that a little bit more, Sharon, but I've learned that you can do much more with insurance and make it work for you. Because at the end of the day, we take insurance out on a lot of things: cars, homes, yourself, pets, everything. And we gotta be able to be smart to make that insurance work for us, so that the dollars that we're paying out, it gives us protection, but it also needs to come back where it helps us reap the benefits of that. You know that a policy can eventually pay for itself, that eventually, and you know, Sarah, that you could pay so long that you don't have to pay no more, and you still gain interest, that money goes into your pocket.
Yeah, because a whole life policy, after you have paid that term, and if you decide not to cash it out and you let it sit there, it's gonna draw interest. You're gonna gain money on your money, and people have been doing it for years. But I hate to say this, but with the lack of funding, with the lack of funds from the African American people living the paycheck to paycheck, they just see life insurance as a bill. But like you said, it is such a benefit. Yeah. If you take out $20,000 in a whole term policy, one thing about life insurance is immediate estate. It's immediate. tax free.
Yes.
Why would you leave this earth and not leave your family something? Because you can leave them something. Don't
Right.
just
Now
leave
we
them
got to
a
do a
bill.
GoFundMe to bury you because you left us dead.
Right. And you know what? And another thing,
had to, but
I've been preaching,
Yeah.
with the life insurance is a lot of us, most of us rent. Do you have renter's insurance?
Right.
It's so cheap.
I do.
Yeah.
It is
I'm
cheap.
bundled. I'm bundled with my
And you
my
saving
car
money.
insurance and my rental insurance.
And you saving money by bundling. But it is so, it is so cheap. You can get a renter's policy for less than $200 for 12 months. If your house burned down, if somebody break into your home, we don't know what's going to happen. How much money is it going to cost you to replace that flat screen TV?
That's right.
Or that PlayStation.
That's right.
That's money that don't have to come out your pocket. Have at least $15,000. They can pay on hand. You just never know what's going to happen. Then you don't have to get the GoFundMe, right, Deanna, for to replace things and not putting nobody else down. But when you are able and you have the means and you have the knowledge to take care of yourself, that's what we need to do. So but you'll readily. The thing about it is they will readily go to the other side and give all their business to them when you have somebody that try to take care of you. And give you, hey, I'm trying to tell you what the A's and B's and the 1, 2, 3 is.
Right.
Birds and bees if you need
Veronica
that.
with that damn button tonight.
Huh?
She own it. She own it.
With that button you hitting tonight.
I'm on it.
You on it, girl.
He's spitting facts tonight. And I want to go back because I too, and we're gonna, to wrap it up a little bit because we're going on 2 hours, and I know ladies got to get up. Oh, unless y'all want to keep going.
I got
hey.
an 8 o'clock meeting with my tax guy in the morning. So.
But then I do taxes too. But okay, let's go ahead and move on.
Listen, right. And see, I too, like Sharon, I had my head, and I'm so disappointed in myself because
I fussed at her.
Man, I mean,
I'm letting it go.
Yeah. I too had my insurance license for the state of South Carolina, and last year it was time to renew, and I sat around, and I guess it's definitely because the one that got me into selling life insurance, she passed away. Rest in peace, Stephanie. But like she was my pusher, especially when it came time for me to renew my license, because we have to renew every 2 years. And it was time for me to renew, and I just, man. I am thinking about going back and taking the test again, But I say that to say, I came across so many people to try to sit down and try to get them to purchase life insurance because it's very important. Like everyone needs life insurance, but it was so many people that turned it down. Didn't even have life insurance, but they turned it down. And it's not even expensive. Just think of how often do you go out to eat? $25 a week or whatever. That's how much you can be paying a month for life insurance.
Right. But you know what? COVID made them realize, a lot of people, because people were dropping like flies.
Yeah.
And still are, that, hey, I need something because I don't know when it's going to happen to me. And if that doesn't open your eyes, then nothing. You go ahead and be uninsured. So when you die, they'll just throw you to the curb. So I don't know. So, but
I don't know.
And it's the young branches falling. It ain't the old trees and the bushes and the forest that's falling. I've seen so many. I have not.
I don't mean to applaud, but
funerals. But you're right. I have not seen so many young people being funeralized in all my life. You remember when we were growing up, if you saw a young person's funeral, it was like something rare and it was like so traumatic. Correct. I remember growing up 2 young people's funeral. A girl, she got hit by a car and then another one drowned. And that was just so rare and traumatic. But then, there were years that passed by before I saw another young person fall. But now they're falling. 10, 5, 4, 3 years old.
Mhm.
They're young.
And we as a culture gotta stop wanting to get things. I think we're conditioned to, if I give you my money, I need to get something in my hand right then.
Yeah.
You get that policy.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's not something they can wear.
That's their mindset.
Yeah, it's just the mindset. We just
It's the people that I don't want to leave nothing for my family.
Yeah, I mean, and
I'm
I
not
don't
leaving
get
no money
that.
they're not gonna gain anything when I die. Oh, okay.
That's ignorance.
The ones that say that.
That's why we so far behind. We so far behind.
'Cause I don't want my
So far
son to have to
behind.
struggle at all.
Right.
Or my mom.
Not leaving my kids like that. They're grown. They're 24 and 26, and I dare not leave them
They're
in
not.
a state
Right.
of despair when I close my eyes forever.
Uh-uh.
Great.
Right.
I just saw a young lady on TikTok, and she caught my attention. She had a monkey, and the monkey caught my attention, but she caught my attention. A young lady, cute, and I started watching her TikTok, and she said that she did a video, and she said that it was long overdue, and she talked about how people wanted to know how she got the monkey, and she said, "Well, I paid $10,000 for this monkey," and she said, "Well, first of all, don't criticize me that I could have got it cheaper, because when you make six figures, you buy whatever you want to." She said that I'm self-employed. I have 5 businesses. When she said that, I watched more of her TikToks. She lives in Dallas. This woman is in her 20s or early 30s. She just invested in an Airbnb, $5,500. She said after she put it on the market, after the bookings came in, she said in one day she made her investment of the $5,500.
Wow.
I applaud her.
We gotta start
Way to go,
investing.
sister.
We gotta
Way to
start
go.
investing. That's where it's at.
Right. And I'm looking for invested mind people, because so many people are scared to spend that money
Yeah.
and then, don't want to do it. But sometimes you need a group of people to do things. Like I have things in my mind all the time, but I'm like, it's going to take a group, but you got to find the right group. You got to find the right people to invest, because you can't invest with everybody.
Right.
And so, you need the people that's on one accord. And if y'all ain't on one accord, it's not going to work. And that's why a lot of people try to do things on their own and they fail, but not realizing that it's going to take a group.
Strength in numbers.
Right.
And it's got to take people that's willing to share that information that they have.
And
Right.
don't be afraid to ask questions. I'm gonna tell you, investing, Dogecoin, Bitcoin, that kind of stuff, just kind of caught my attention. So I have people who I know about this stuff, and I pick their brains. Like I am not
can't be afraid
to ask 1,000 questions.
Yeah.
And can you break that down? I'm not understanding the terminology. And if they get aggravated with me, it's fine if they tell me, but I'm still gonna ask.
Right.
So you be those people that be sending friend requests from Bitcoin?
No, I don't talk to them. I talk to people I know.
Yeah, I don't take. They be sending me too, because I'm in another group too.
Right.
But yeah, I don't.
They be
block,
cute and all, but
block.
I be like,
I don't even care. Block.
I don't want to be cute and hanging.
Why you even on the block?
Yeah, but look,
Block. I don't have time. Block.
right.
But look at Veronica tonight. I thought about calling Veronica today, but I do know that she's busy, especially on the nights that we come in on. But Veronica has created a banner for Tangy Tea. She just added the phones tonight.
You go, girl.
Found a pig.
You understand? Now I gotta tell her, I gotta pick your brain, because there's some things I want to do.
Uh-oh.
I like, and if we work together, we can be able to enhance some things, going forward.
I might can be on radio one day.
Come on, girl. Come on. We got room. We got room.
Oh yeah.
Listen.
Say it again. Go ahead.
Listen. Ask me any questions.
Hey. Oh,
that is Veronica.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what the studious nurse can look like.
I see.
I'm here for it. I am definitely here for
on
lifting
that note.
anybody up. What I know, I don't mind sharing with anybody. I'm telling you. Hey,
I
there's
love
enough
you
room for
share it.
everybody.
You do.
And
have
I'm gonna
to
give a
be
shout out. I gotta
careful.
give a shout out to Tori, because I had a conversation with Tori around my birthday, and she shared some things with me. And she just said that she was a little hesitant at first, but she went out there and did it, and just she knocked it out. And I want to
Listen.
applaud her for that, because she went out and she conquered, and that's what it is about.
That's what you have
Sometimes
to
you have
do.
that fear, but you know, when you push through,
Right.
you get there. And I'm talking about, and the push her podcast. Her podcast looks tremendous. It looks great.
Right.
Looks great, you know, and that's the hard work that she put in.
Yeah.
So it can be done.
You listen, I would tell anybody, if it's something that you want to do, you gotta just jump out there and do it.
You got to do it.
You gotta do it. I'm telling you, when I started this show back in 2019, I just kept saying to myself, like, I want a talk show. Like, I want to talk to the people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be Wendy Williams, like with Veronica, but
Hey, girl.
Wednesday.
A lot shorter, and a better body build.
you know what? Don't talk
Go
to
I
my
want to
girl.
talk Wendy. I'm talking Oprah.
But listen,
Take the limits off.
Wendy,
So Wendy still
Wendy,
there. Hold on.
how you doing?
Doing.
Wendy started in radio. I listened and watched Wendy in radio. She you know what I'm talking about, Fatine.
I
Made
was
her
there
way
when
to
she
the
came into New York. I was
made
right there.
yes,
First night.
made her way to
did.
now the TV, got her own talk show. Listen,
She did.
I'm all about that sister and her hustle.
Tell them manifestation. Tell them what
Shouts
you
out to
want,
Wendy.
and you'll
Huh?
get it. Manifestation. Tell them what you want, you'll get it.
And
And
she
you know what?
did it.
Don't forget the little people of the world. I'm still gonna be like, hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
I
Hey.
got y'all.
That's my thing. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey girl, hey.
All right.
You know I got
so
y'all.
glad that we
I
did
would
this
not
show.
forget anybody that came along with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The ones that started with me, the ones that are here with me
Started from the
now.
bottom. Now we here.
Listen,
And another one.
that
burst
is
of
how you continue getting your blessings. You can't forget the people that was there for you from the beginning, all the
Right.
way to where you at now. You can't forget the people. I don't care if we haven't done 10, 20 shows like Fatine and I and Tori and Tawan, Victor, like Deanna, Sharon. I won't forget y'all. Trust and believe that. Because I'm definitely headed to the top.
Hey.
Only on the top now here. On
Hey,
the top now here.
I'm
Hey.
definitely making my way. What God has
Okay.
for me, and I say it all the time, what God has for me is for me.
That's it.
Amen.
But I definitely
All right.
like this discussion tonight. I've been itching to have these types of discussions.
Yes, there will be plenty more. I'm switching things up a little. You know, I really love the email letters that we get. Love it, and I appreciate everyone for writing in. And I want y'all to continue doing that. But we're definitely going to have topics like this as well.
That's
you know what I'm
needed.
saying?
Much needed.
Definitely going to have topics like this, topics that are needed in our communities. Our young children need to hear this. God willing, I have the chief of Chesterfield County that's going to be coming on to talk to me. Hopefully this week, if everything goes good. And he may be watching tonight. Had a talk with him this morning, and he's going to be coming on and talking about, you know, what to do when you get stopped by police, talking about the black on black crime and all of the stuff that we need to be talking about. I'm definitely going to have the chief of Chesterfield County to come on and talk with you guys. Are more than welcome to sit in on that show if you know.
I want part of
Definitely,
that, please.
yes.
Ooh,
Definitely
I know
want to have you
Fatine
aboard.
do.
Huh?
I know Fatine want to sit
Oh yeah,
on that.
I know he want a piece of that. I had the chief of police, Darlington City chief of police on, and the sheriff of Darlington County on. Shouts out to them.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, that was what, a month or two ago. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna kiss my bell. I'm gonna retire my bell after tonight's show.
Cause I got it going on.
No,
You got it going
don't do
on.
that. No, don't do that.
I got
Keep
it
the
going
bell,
on
that
over
work.
here. But yeah, so the T is definitely moving in a not a different direction, because the realness is
expanding.
definitely going to stay around.
Expanding.
Yeah,
Yes.
expanding. Good word.
Expanding. Yeah.
Growing.
So,
It's all about growth.
right. But I
All
appreciate
right.
everybody.
I love the addition. I love the two additions there too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank
Dan
you,
and Sharon.
Fatine.
Yes. Thank y'all
I
so
enjoy
much.
myself.
I really appreciate you, sisters, for hanging out with me on the tea.
Much love.
You know, we gotta support one another in whatever we do.
Definitely.
So I definitely appreciate y'all guys. Thank you, ladies. And my brother Fatine, all the way from New York, making time out
Yeah.
each and every week right here
NYC.
There you
from
go.
WBLS, the number one
Okay.
radio station over there in New York. Shouts out to you, Fatine.
Yeah, I hope to see y'all at this time in 2 weeks. I'm coming down, Lord willing, and this time I plan to be down there about 2 weeks. So look forward.
Oh, we
to
got
Right.
together.
Yes, we definitely got to get together this time.
Yeah, I'm totally
got-
vaccinated, so I'm
Yes.
good. So
Oh, you out here?
Karaoke
yeah,
Karaoke time.
there you go.
So yeah, I appreciate each and every one of Victor, my co-host,
Yeah.
I appreciate him so
Victor
much.
got to go back to that barbershop and get his money back.
You see this?
Oh,
Victor.
Sharon, wait a second. Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Shouts out to my girl Tori.
Tori.
Yes, Tori.
Yes, everyone that makes the tea happen. I really appreciate each and every one of you
Karaoke
guys.
is Tori. Miss Karaoke.
All everybody
Oh, yeah,
that
Tori was getting down. Tori, I
Okay.
saw you. You came through, girl.
showing out. Listen, Deanna, Sharon, I already know you're gonna be aboard Friday. Definitely some karaoke going
You
down.
forgot what I told you. I got death
Yeah.
in the family.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We'll
Prayers
talk
to
after
you.
the
Yes,
show.
prayer to you and your family, Sharon.
Yes, prayers.
My
condolences.
condolences.
Yes.
Guys.
But guys, thank y'all so much. All of you that left comments, I'm so sorry that we didn't get a chance to get to the comments. We were so into this hot topic tonight. Y'all see that? Wait a minute.
Oh, flex up.
Oh,
no.
no.
Oh.
Yeah,
the good
yeah,
side.
yeah.
Why you gotta make me do that? Why?
My bad.
Why?
My bad.
You gotta make
Take
me.
mine down.
We flexing a little. Going to the gym, trying to get right and tight for the summer, right?
I know that's right.
I'm just sit back on
And then
that.
that work.
Okay.
Deanna said,
Deanna.
"Yeah."
See, I said all the way back to
You still fine. You still
It's like,
fine.
both y'all.
No, I love it.
Come on in. Come on, join us.
Thank y'all so much for watching tonight. Like I said, we didn't get to all of your comments. The topics was hot. Thank you all for calling in. My boy
Yes.
Corey over there in Charlotte, Tori for calling in, Victor for calling in. Thank y'all so much. This is definitely what we're gonna be doing each and every week.
You
Yeah, I
fancy,
wanted
huh?
to say shout out to Adrian Carter. Adrian Carter was the guy that took after I graduated high school. He became the starting first baseman for George Westinghouse. He logged on tonight first time. Thank you, brother.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
All
you.
right. We appreciate you. Appreciate you, my
All
brother.
right, we appreciate you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone for joining tonight. If you would like to be a guest on Tangy of Life, inbox me right here on our page, Tangy of Life page, or you can inbox me on my personal page, Veronica Samuel, or you can send me an email, tangyteaoflife@gmail.com. If you want to be a guest, if you have topics, so tangyteaoflife@gmail.com. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight once again. And God willing, we'll be back Thursday with some more hot tea.
Yes.
Y'all stay